That's me in the very beginning. Now I am a baby and getting zoomed from my mom to my birthday. I don't remember a lot about my younger life, but I remember it was fun and I felt so safe. My mom and dad always happy. I guess my mom's sister was mad that my dad was so great, so she called the police and said he hit my mom. We were all reading and they came. I heard my dad yelling, "There's no way." My mom was crying loudly. Some lady took us away. The court said my parents abused and neglected us. They only loved us. The caseworker lied. I never saw my parents again. I'm still hoping one day they come. I am a victim of CPS and so are my parents. We need to find justice in all of this madness for all of us that are being abused. It's not fair. Every kid I know has a mom and dad. I know they miss me. I bet they fight every day for me to come home.
Don't get caught like us. Know your rights.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the second episode of Family Surviving CPS. With us today is our guest, Wendy. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I am peachy, putting up a new fight for the day. So, what kind of fights have you been putting up over the last couple weeks since we last talked to you?
There was a shooting in the hometown of where my daughters live. And the police aren't releasing any information.
Oh, your daughters were in yeah, I seen something on the news about that shooting.
Yeah, and they're not releasing any information, but from what I did get, it was two younger gentlemen, they must have been juveniles. Swanton's getting really, really bad. It's starting to get overrun with crack and heroin, and the mayor doesn't want the rest of the community to know.
Right.
So now we have a dead young gentleman because the police department don't want to do their job.
Well, I mean, Swanton's always been a kind of area where it was always the nice area right on the edge of a not so nice area. I mean, being from that area myself, you know, I'm very familiar with the area, so I understand your concerns.
Yeah, because first we had Sierra, and now we have this young gentleman that has lost his life, and it really does concern me because I have a 17-year-old daughter that is driving and hanging out with her friends, and it's not the same community we grew up in, Melissa. No. It's not.
And you know, even down here in southern Alabama, I moved down to the Mobile area in 2016. You go down to your local hardware store, everyone's nice, everyone's polite. Every hood rat will hold the door because you don't know they're a hood rat because they're all so darn polite. But now, fast forward 8 years, these people that you run into now, you hear of a shooting every month. Before it was like one shooting a year. Now it's a shooting every single month. Yep. And and fentanyl is running rampant everywhere. I was actually watching a clip last night on the mother from Ohio that got sentenced to natural life for abandoning her kid for 10 days while she went on a vacation, and the baby was 18 months old, and the baby slowly starved to death. Died of malnutrition and dehydration. And none of the mother's family said a single word protecting the baby. Everyone said give mercy to the mother, but no one said give prayers to the baby. So the coroner who did the autopsy on the baby actually stood up and spoke on the behalf of the baby. And, you know, I'm not much for capital punishment or life in prison. There's a time and a place for it, but it's very far and few between. And when that judge sat there and said, the type of torture that that poor little baby went through, you'll never be able to go through that much torture. And understanding that, I'm giving you life in prison without parole. Honestly,
Right.
I didn't think that was enough.
No. She should
Then
have
as
got the
I'm
death
flipping
penalty.
through stuff, there's another mother. She had a 4-month-old baby. She had put fentanyl in the bottle. And not even right after that one, I found one where a baby was not. Now the 4-month-old, they was able to do Narcan and save the baby.
Right.
But the 9-month-old baby, the mom actually told the police, said, I thought I was putting cocaine in my daughter's bottle so she would just go to sleep. What kind of world are we in when parents think it's okay to give their less than 1-year-old children fentanyl, cocaine, heck, too much diphenhydramine, too much Benadryl. And they're killing these poor babies.
Because the government's putting all them drugs out on the street. You can get high in front of police officers now. So, apparently the parents thinks it's okay that the kids get high too.
Yeah, but to give a 9-month-old cocaine, but yet
No, she's high.
most of us tuning into this show, most of us coming on this show, none of us would ever conceive doing such a horror.
No. And see, that's what makes us look bad when CPS comes into our homes and they take they rip good families apart, and then we scream, CPS took our kids. Oh, well, automatically everybody's assuming, well, you must have been abusing your children. And that's not the case at all. See, they leave these children in the drug addict's home because they can't make no money off of them.
Oh, yeah,
so they take the good baby.
A damaged child is worth nothing to them. It costs them money. My children were well behaved, please and thank you. My daughter was a newborn, and there was no, and they openly say at every hearing, well, there was no risk of harm. There was no allegations. And then I'm standing there beating on the desk at my attorney like, hey, if there's no allegations and no risk of harm, why the heck are we even here? Why ain't I at home barbecuing with my kids or getting ready to take them out on the boat or it's Easter weekend. Why aren't we planning for an Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, dinner with the family. Yeah, going and picking out dresses or nice clothes for the boys. Yeah, all that's gone.
Yeah, and that's why, when we was sitting down and we was talking about, the different shows and, Darren focuses more on the hunting for justice, the finding the cure. But in the same, you have to know how to survive, how to move forward. Because one day your kids are there, you're playing in the yard, you're having fun, you're pushing, your kid on the swing, or you're going to the park, or you're playing with the puppy. My kids, they love to go fishing, so usually every Friday, if my older daughter behaved, we'd pack up and we'd go fishing. There's a river about 10 miles from the house, We'd go fishing for the day. We would do something as a family every single weekend. And now on the weekends, I just hope that I can work 24/7 so that I miss the weekend. But yet in the same, I dread the week because then the court's open. They could do anything and, I may or may not have warning.
Right. But
and it's such a scary place to be in.
A lot of, when you said that you know, it's hard for a lot of us to move forward because we have our children that were stolen from us. I, when I recruit a lot of the people that have been affected, a lot of these they did what I first did. They got the story. They're so angry. They want to tell you what happened. It's so unfair. They broke this law. They broke that law. I want to urge everybody that we recruit that you have to change that anger into strength. You are
Yes.
not going to move forward with none of this if you just sit there and you keep blaming and blaming and blaming and blaming. And I know what they did was wrong. We all know what they did is wrong. We all have the same story, different
Sure.
circumstances. Some of us have the same circumstances. But, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot urge enough. You have to turn that into strength. That is the only thing that's going to bring these children home is that strength. You
Yep.
need to quit
Is that we
blaming. And
unite and we fight together and
yes,
we stand up
yes,
and we not be ashamed to ask our neighbor for
no,
help.
no,
Because nowadays they're taking so many kids in so many
yep,
places that if it ain't your neighbor on one side or the other, it might be their neighbor on the next side down. They're going through the same thing.
right,
People got to
right,
get past the shame, blame, and they
yep,
have to not. And I can't emphasize this enough. As an advocate, I've personally helped a lot of families, and the
yep,
first thing the department does, the absolute first thing, bar none, they want to divide the mother and the father.
yep,
Even if they're only friends and it was a one night stand and they're co
right.
parenting in different homes.
Are you there? We lost Melissa, Darren.
Says she's here. Where'd she go? We lost
I'm
Melissa.
here.
Oh, she's here. No,
Okay, we can hear you now.
Yeah, no, my internet's been sketchy for the last couple days. But
I
no,
noticed that too.
like I was trying to say before the internet cut out. So many families are being destroyed. They're being torn apart. They're being turned against each other.
Yep.
And that's what our department is using to deem us non-stable, to deem us a danger, to deem us incapable.
Right.
Because if we are a divided household with a divided income, then we aren't capable of raising our children by ourselves because they're going to argue that we can't make the money we need to support our families and everything. So, more than anything, no matter how much you despise your ex, no matter how much you despise your aunt or your uncle or your
Yep.
whoever, the family must work together. That is
Yes.
the only way that we can get through these things and prove the constitutional arguments to be able to take all of these cases up to a higher level. Because we ain't going to win in front of the corrupt judge at the lower level. I mean,
No.
there's no possible way to do it because that judge is paid by the department to supervise the case. He makes
We do
money to
have
stall.
right. Right. We do have some kind of break. I know a lot of people aren't tying this to what we're doing, but I know who I've contacted and I know why they're doing what they're doing. We got P. Diddy. That is one of the biggest child traffickers through the United States, and they can trace him up to children's services. I think what the government's doing is we've got this writ out, and what they're going to do is they're going to start blaming people like P. Diddy and other places to take the blame off them. And I am
Right.
telling everybody that's listening, with this bust with P. Diddy, this is the best thing that could have happened to all of us that are fighting this. The
Well,
best thing.
and the thing is they actually tied the P. Diddy thing into Oh, what was the island where they was torturing the kids?
Epstein.
Yeah, they tied P. Diddy into the Epstein
And the thing,
deal.
right. But a lot of it is too is yeah, like I told you guys, what the government's doing is they're taking down them people. So then that way it takes pressure off the government and it takes the eyeballs off the government.
Right. Yeah, they got to make themselves look beautiful because
I knew they were going to do this. I was wondering who they were going to
there's always a scapegoat.
Right. And this is going to go right past the Clintons. Watch. They'll be mentioned in the media here pretty soon for like a quick minute. And then and then they're going to tie it right up to children's services. I'm telling you, this was the best thing that ever happened to us. The best thing.
Well, and did you hear that, what'd they say? P. Diddy was on a false flight, but they had him listed as a passenger on one jet going one way, when the fact of the matter was he flew under an alias to a non-extraditable country or something.
Well, he's got mansions underneath the ground. You didn't see that? He's got mansions out of the country underneath
it was
the ground.
something. Yeah, I was going to say it was something like just 2 days ago. They said that I guess they chased down a fake flight, but they had originally tied him into all the stuff with Tupac Shakur.
Yes,
and then they found out that Tupac was alive and actually over in Canada.
Right. Yep. And that's how they're gonna take them all down. I am so ecstatic over this. We needed this so much, and it's just gonna go right down the line. Watch, we're gonna get our kids back within the next 6 months. Watch. The best thing that happened. That's why we encourage everybody that we're still recruiting for the writ. It's a federal lawsuit against the federal government for allowing CPS to violate our rights and break laws through CPS in the court system. Get a hold of me or Melissa. We're still taking
why don't you take a little bit of time and break the writ down more for people so that they understand. That way, anyone and everyone that wants to, hop on board, they can always drop a message at abolishcps.com, or they can personally text me, they can call me, we'll make something happen and build more. I mean, based on what I was seeing on our writ, I think we have something like 52 pages of families currently.
Yes.
On the current writ. And it's about 15, I counted between 15 and 18 families per page. We need to see 500 pages.
Yes, we do. With a lot more people on it. We did lose some people to a couple. They went the other way with Connie and then Tanawa. But we are getting our clientele back up. The writ is a federal lawsuit under color of law. What color underneath the Constitution? What color of law is they violated your constitutional rights as a parent to be able to parent your child without no interference and have that bond. And they violated the children's rights under color of law to be able to stay with that parent, to build a bond, to be a productive citizen when they are of age. And we're going to hold children's services responsible for taking these children out of the home for funding. We just put out, I think, the last part of the writ. We're getting a cover page going. After this, I guess indictments start going out. So I think that's why the federal government's starting to come down on these other people. So, then they can not get blamed themselves. What else do you want me to say?
Hey, you always got to have a scapegoat. Like I said before, I think in my case, they're trying to make me the scapegoat for their screw-ups.
Yeah, now Children's Services are saying through my case, my mother put my signature on a court document for guardianship that I didn't know existed. And I keep
Right.
asking them, well, where's the original ink of this paper? There's got to be original ink somewhere because I would never give
Well,
that woman
and
control over my
I
children.
mean, and here's the fun. It's funny that you say the original ink because I was just reading a contract law that all these contracts that are done by electronic signature. There's actually a way to kind of go around them, and it's actually based off of sovereign law and a wet ink signature.
Yeah.
And it argues the same thing. Show me the original signature. Show me the proof.
Yep, and they still can't show it to this day. Oh, I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. I don't never see it because I didn't sign one. I got emancipated from this woman at 16. Why would I give her control of my kids? I'm not stupid twice.
Did you file discovery yet?
No, they won't let me file nothing. They won't even give me my case file.
Well, no, that's what filing discovery is. Filing discovery is something that you could file with the court that forces the court's hand to make the department turn everything over. And
no, they won't do it.
If half of those records are in the court will have to turn those records over.
Right. Yep. You won't do nothing. And they think they're untouchable in Fulton County.
They think they're untouchable in every county.
Yeah. They're going to find out how untouchable they are.
Well,
wait till DH, what is it, them guys that go in there, wait till they start hitting Children's Services. I can't
DOJ?
Wait. Yeah.
The DOJ on my state, and you might check into your state too. Google DOJ reports against CPS or DHS, DCS, put in your state's name and put DOJ reports against my state. Because you'll be surprised to find that there has already been a bunch of internal investigations and your state has been deemed guilty of abuse and neglect of children.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it. I was just playing on the internet and a friend of mine told me that and I'm like, nah, they ain't gonna have that. I looked and sure enough, in the state of Alabama, the Department of Human Resources has been found guilty of educational and mental neglect of children.
Wow.
And come to find out, now it's starting to stem a bunch of lawsuits because they're taking our teenage kids and they're throwing them all in nut wards.
When they're the ones screwing them up.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, but we're the bad parents.
Right. My kid wasn't in therapy when he was with me.
Right, well,
with you?
So my son went into the system at 3 years old. By 4 years old, they had him in anger management.
Wow.
And they actually testified to the fact that my son's behavior got worse while he was in care. And that the only thing they seen when he was in my house is he'd throw the standard 3-year-old temper tantrum.
My 17-year-old daughter was the best child in the world ever since she was born. Hardly ever gotten in trouble or anything. Little Southern girl, beautiful blonde hair, blue eyes. It is now short, red, and she's got piercings all over the place. And she is now stretching her earlobes. And my mother is allowing this. Yeah.
And it's probably how your mother is keeping control of them. By just allowing them to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome, both my girls. My mother is a narcissist. She's very abusive. She's mentally ill. Yeah, we're getting ready to file on the 10th. So we'll see
Well,
what
and
happens.
that's what you have to do. You have to keep putting up your fight, and you can't stop. Just when you think all hope is lost, file again.
Well, I think they're going to go ahead and give me Abby because Annie will be 18 next month. Well, in May. And I think they're just going to give me her, so I'll shut my mouth because I've caused so much trouble in Fulton County. It's ridiculous.
Right.
You know, I told them I'm not going to stop. Give me my kids back and I'll shut up.
No, I feel you on that one.
And I think that's what they're gonna do.
The judge in my case has created such a stink that at this point, even if they walked up to me tomorrow and said, you know what, no harm, no foul, here's your kids, have a good day, I'm not going to stop. I'm making it my personal job to not stop until the corruption in this county stops.
Yep, I'm not going to stop till we can get these children home. Don't forget about Kim Howell, you guys. Kim Howell, she's an advocate fighting for her son to get her grandchildren back for her son, and she is now in hiding because her town put warrants out for her for posting on Facebook.
Yeah, how is she doing?
She's very scared, but she is doing better health-wise. She's getting a little stronger. She still can't go home, but she still fights. She's still fighting wherever she's at. She had to get a new phone, new email, everything. And posting on Facebook.
It's not like they give you much option. Yeah. My friend Kim had spoke with her, and Kim had kind of gave me the gist of it, that literally she posted things that she had permission to post, that her son even asked her to post, and now the department is trying to work with him if he's willing to testify against her. Right. That's what Kim said. That is some shady crap.
Yeah.
I don't know how you want to look at it. That is some shady crap.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they wanted to use my daughter against me. My daughter's now 18. But so what they did was they told her, hey, help us find a way to set up your mother and we'll buy you a car. That's what they literally told my daughter. Help us set up your mother and we will buy you a car. Right. Not your mother's hurting you, let us protect you. Right. No, help us find a way to get even and we will buy you a car. Right. That is the craziest thing I have ever heard. But it is. I have the text messages from the department to my daughter to prove it. Mm-hmm. And you know, you try to tell people these things and people are like, oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. They don't do shit like that. Yeah, they do. You know, and it was funny when our case first started, my daughter had to do counseling. So the counselor actually came to our house 3-4 hours a day. Wonderful, wonderful lady. She was through a third-party organization. She defended us to the end. Like when she came to court, she had nothing but great things to say about us. Right? And they turned around and told her that she could not finish services with us and that she was not allowed to talk to us anymore. But but she's like, when I told her, I said, I told her, I said, this is just the start. They're just playing nice till they can find a way to screw us. Yes. And she says, Melissa, you're just being paranoid. This case ain't going to be like that. They're not going to do that this time. 3 months later, the day before she was supposed to come out, they called her and told her, do not come out. Do not talk to me. Do not be seen near me. Do not allow me to private retain to finish the services I had started. And then The very next day, we went into our regularly scheduled ISP meeting, and we get there, and there's 6 cop cars in the parking lot.
Isn't that embarrassing? That's so embarrassing.
And when we walked in, we went into the back room for our ISP, and there wasn't any cops directly in the room, but then they all started walking in, and they said, okay, you two can leave, and your kids are staying here. No risk of harm, no nothing. When we went to court, they said, oh yeah, we did an emergency removal due to risk of harm, and it took us 3 months to do it.
Right.
So if it took you 3 months to do a removal, how the heck is it an emergency? Where's the imminent danger? And realistically, I think that's one of the many things that through these shows we need to start teaching parents is how to recognize the things that they are going to call imminent danger. Because knowing how to stay one step ahead is the only way you're ever going to beat them. Because you're not going to beat them agreeing with them, signing their contracts, kissing their ass. You'll never win doing it. Because they hold all the keys and the rules change.
Well, they changed on me. My mother tried to go up and get me for communication, some communication charge harassment, because I've been trying to text message and call my mother because I haven't seen my one daughter in 3 years and my other daughter since May of last year. And now the police are telling me that I cannot text or call my mother. So now they're interfering with the court order and they're getting away with it. So I don't know what she's telling them, but she only has guardianship. And now I can't even go enforce my visitation.
You know,
I have from the court.
After the show, I have a, he's an older attorney there in your area. He actually lives right over in Toledo. And he would not charge you to go through it and to help you with a thing or two. He's really about helping families. He's semi-retired, but he still maintains his license. And he was a good attorney back in the day. He's still a good attorney. He just doesn't openly practice much anymore. And he's a good friend of mine. And I'll hook you up with him to see if he can, you know, sometimes these attorneys, they can make a call, they can pull some magic monkey out of their hat that we can't find.
They're not even letting me come in the town of Swanton. They told me if I came in the town of Swanton, I would be arrested. I have a court order to go get my children every other weekend. And now they're telling me I can't come in the town.
Right. Well, does it surprise you that they play dirty?
No. They're interfering with a court order.
Won't be the first time and won't be the last time. I think everything they do is an interference of some kind of order. But, so after they start these indictments and stuff, and they follow through with this next step of this writ, then what's next? Has Barbara went through and kind of discussed the game plan at all?
That's what we're waiting on. That's what we're waiting on right now. I'm waiting for an email with the cover, what to do. Right now, everybody, she's asking everybody to try to get a hold of the news stations in your city. And everybody that's on the writ, send a copy to the police station, the media stations of the writ. You know, even maybe get a copy from Melissa and I, if you're not on the writ, to be able to send to the news stations. Well, you know, I'll even agree to that. We're just waiting. I'm waiting on her. She said in a couple of days, so we're waiting.
Right. Well, and it'd be neat if, I would say if it pans out, but nothing ever fully pans out when dealing with the state. But if it pans out enough that it opens up a new avenue.
Right.
Because there is so much that can be accomplished if we the people, as the writ says, if we the people just work together.
Oh, and I wanted to tell everybody else right now too. The DOJ is getting ready to do all 50 nationwide states to investigate CPS. They want you to send your information to them, the one in Washington. Did you get that, Melissa? Did you get that one?
I had seen a brief blurb from you about it, and I was talking to Darren about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'll send it to you again if you need it. I know I sent it to Darren too.
I was going to say, text it to Darren and let him...
Well, hello. We lost her again.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Yes, that right there.
Yeah, screenshot it and crop it down and send it to send it over to Darren so that he can upload it to his page, and then people can read it and send their information where it needs to go. I actually have a mother that I've been helping and working with. She actually originally came on Darren's show. But I've kind of stayed in contact with her since. She actually just went to the DOJ in Washington. She literally physically went there. And well, they turned her away and they gave her another list of to-dos. They wanted her to go to a specific branch of the FBI because she, as a child, was molested by her uncle. And her uncle is a setting appeals judge. And because she's refusing to allow sleeping dogs lie, as they say, and that she wants the world to know what kind of predator he is, he has made it his daily job to mess with her kids any way he can. Even her adult children, because she has some adult handicapped children. And they've literally walked in and literally stole her 23-year-old son right out of her house.
So what's going on with it now?
It's been a week or so since I've talked to her, but last I talked to her, she's at the point that she's pretty much going to be homeless. She's no longer able to go into her state of Illinois. She's trying to figure out what to do, where her and her kids can go that they'll be safe. But hopefully, and the thing is originally she was a Medicaid whistleblower for misappropriation of funds in the state of Louisiana. And she was supposed to be protected under the Whistleblower Act. Guess what they didn't do? So, yeah, last I heard, she's over in Tennessee, and I had a couple organizations that were trying to work with her to help her establish a place and stuff for the moment. But you know, she, like I say, she's not going to stop until her voice is heard. And if even 1/10 of the families that have been involved with the department believe and agree to that same kind kind of thing that they're not going to stop until their voices are heard,
Right.
the parents would be so powerful that no government would be able to come between us and our children.
Right, but we can't get enough of the people to do that. That's our problem.
Well, you know, when they're sitting there telling you that they're going to arrest you if you speak about your case, you know,
Yeah.
it scares people. Because
Yeah, it does.
we believe that these people know the law and they're speaking the truth. But what most people don't know is that the department does lie to you. They are allowed to lie to you. It's right in their rule books. All they have to do is argue that it was needed in fear of safety. And they're allowed to lie to you, just like a cop can lie to you.
Yeah.
And if parents quit believing them and start standing on their own 2 feet, because per Supreme Court case law, the only people that are truly allowed to speak out about what's going on in the cases is the family of the children. As long as you have a right to your child, you have a right to speak.
Yeah.
You know, and if
Sure
more
do.
families stood up for that right to speak, we'd be in a lot better place.
But like you said, a lot of them are scared, especially us parents that, you know, we know where the rabbit hole goes. You know,
Right.
people find out that rabbit hole and they back out. But people like you and I, we're not afraid of that rabbit hole. We'll go right through it. And we need more parents
Well, the
to
way
do that.
I figure it is losing a 4-year-old for 14 more years or 90 days in jail because I spoke out. Hey, lock me up. I'm not going to quit fighting.
That's what I told them too. You can go ahead and lock me up, but you can't lock me up forever. And every time I come out, I'm going to be right back here.
And
Done.
that's one of the reasons that I've made it a point through my times of being back on the show to actually run with a background, you know, because this is an anonymous show where families can speak out, people can speak out, their stories can be heard, and there's no face required. There's no real name required. You know, come here and tell your story, and if you need help and we can help, we'll do so. If we can
Right.
point you in the direction of help, we will do so. You know, or maybe the person listening is the next pro bono judge that is going to help you file a federal suit and ask to reclaim your children.
Right.
The thing is, none of us will know if we don't try.
Right. You need to
You know-
exhaust every
Yes.
corner, all means.
And
There is
one
an
of the
open door
things,
somewhere.
one of the things that Cheryl said on the show the other night, know your politicians. Know who's pro CPS, know who's anti CPS. Know your politicians. Know that if this person gets elected, what kind of changes they're going to make. Call
Right.
them, talk to them. Don't call them and say, oh, I have this case, you know, what's your opinion? Just ask them in general.
Right.
Walk up to them at the next town meeting or the next county meeting or the next, you know, election. You know, go to one of their events and ask them, what is your opinion on children's rights?
Yep.
What is your opinion of the department and how they misappropriate funds and how they mishandle children? And just listen.
Right.
You know, go door to door and spread the word. Go to your city council meetings. Go to, you know, your monthly meetings up at the governor's place. You know, when they do their house meetings and stuff, and they're looking to elect in the new bills, and you know, make your presence known. And no, you ain't gonna get 300 people and go storm up to the Capitol and hold your signs. It's a wonderful thought. But even if you get 5, you'll be known.
Right.
Buy the front page newspaper article. Get 4 or 5 of your friends. Stand there, holding signs. Have someone take a picture. Have it put on the front page of the newspaper. And write your own story for it. They allow that. And newspapers aren't that expensive anymore since, everyone went to TikTok and, all these other things. But you have to reach the people in your community. Because only in community change, only in being the squeaky wheel, will anyone ever think to correct a situation.
Right.
But
you're right.
And have you done any of those things to try to squeak a little louder in your area?
Yeah, I have. I got on the Fulton County, Ohio, Swanton area groups and got totally chewed up and just spit right back out. Oh, I was called a drug addict, a bad mother. I was beating my kids. I'm a piece of crap. Oh, yeah. My mom's got my name ran so far down in the mud, I can't get any help in my community.
Have you went to the governor's office?
Yeah, I went to Governor DeWine, and he told me he has no jurisdiction. I went to Derek Marin. He said he has no jurisdiction. He's the state representative. I even went to Mr. Yost, and he says he has no jurisdiction. So everybody has no jurisdiction in Ohio.
Well, they do, but it's like an implied. You got to give them permission and jurisdiction, and because
They
in
don't
order
want
to
involved.
ask,
Ohio is one of the top 3 corrupt states. They're trafficking children through children's services in Toledo bad. They've been busted 3 times in Lucas County for it. It's bad.
Right.
They're all doing it. All of them are doing it. Marcy Captor knows about it.
I understand.
Yeah.
I called my governor's office and I spoke to a guy in the back because, they always have 101 people to answer the phone. And this guy says, oh, yeah, we can help you. Send us a story of what's going on. Tell us what's up and we'll help you. Yep. So I put together an email of all the information and I send it in. And the guy actually responds back to me and I talked to him 2 or 3 times. And then he figures out that my judge was appointed by the governor. That he is not an elected judge. He is an appointed judge. I've never seen a phone quit ringing so quick it ain't funny. They won't call back. They won't write back. They won't email.
Nope.
Our state reps have never answered for our district.
Yep.
Our Senate rep won't answer for our district. But now I did talk to the congressional rep, which is actually the Mo Brooks, from up in Washington. He is my district's rep. He's actually the sponsor of the bill for advocates in the courtroom that's going on right now with Connie.
Okay.
Where they're trying to push so that, certified family advocates can go with families and help families in the courtroom. Because there's not enough attorneys.
Right. Right. That's what I want to do. Did you guys see in the news that you don't have to take the bar exam to be an attorney anymore? You guys see that?
It's actually, there's quite a few states where it's been that way.
I did not know that.
Yep, I believe it is West Virginia, California, and there's one other state, and it might even be Ohio,
I
but
wouldn't doubt it.
that you do not have to have any college degree to take the
Yeah.
bar exam.
You have to be certified in something. I guess that's it. Isn't that what it was? You only had to be certified?
No, you had to be able to pass the bar exam. Because I have a friend of mine that she's been studying because she wants to take the bar exam, and it's actually my friend Kim. And I said, Kim, why are you killing yourself to pass the bar exam so that you will then have to shut up? I said, what happens when you make too much waves as an attorney? They shut you
Right.
up. They strip you of your license.
Right.
You know, I would rather fight on the sideline with families that represent families and not be able to speak the truth.
Right.
And the biggest, I think the biggest problem we run into is with our court-appointed attorneys. They're in there doing this work for $50 an hour, making almost no money doing it, but they're doing it for the brownie point. And they're literally throwing our families away. And none of them are thinking about the fact that this is flesh and blood children.
No.
All they see is, I just have a client I'm representing. They don't look at the pictures of the family. They don't look at the pictures of the children. You know, when I go to court and my attorney's sitting next to me, I have a picture of us as a family sitting on the table, just in case that judge may want to see.
Aw.
But on that note, we are getting to the end of our show. Is there anything in closing that you would like to say, that you would like families to know? And
you have to know your rights. Educate yourself on your rights. And help fight. Stand up. Stop being scared. They won't hurt us if we all come together as one. We are never going to get this done unless people start sticking together. We are all fighting the same cause. We're a family. We need to stick together, or this is never going to work. That's all I have to say.
And for all the rest of those who have CPS knocking on your door, don't open the door. Don't try to talk and reason with them. Because even if you reason with the worker, they'll be back tomorrow with the police. And even if they don't have a true court order, they will still find some way.
They got me for interfering with custody and tried to take me to jail because I wouldn't let them in my door. Yep.
So, like I say, don't open the door. Know your rights. Stand up for your rights. Look to the internet. Google your county's procedure handbook. Okay? Look in there for the rules of the procedure. Because almost every state, every county, every area, every territory, it says in there that visits should be as much as every day if they can be safely done.
Yes.
So always, every time you talk to your worker, every time you see your worker, demand to spend that time with your kids.
Yes.
So, on that note, let's go ahead and close this up, and let's everyone keep up a good fight, and you have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Melissa, for having me on.
Yep.